This week's bombshell was, of course, that Rupert Lowe had been suspended from the Reform Party. We have seen a lot of statements, but not a face-to-face interview from a Reform Party member until now. In today's video, we will watch Richard Tice be grilled and ask the questions on Rupert Lowe. Before we get into it though, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more. Just a quick one to say we have new Liber t-shirts available on our website. You can check the link in the description or go to britishstand.com.
A complaint was made to the Metropolitan Police on the 13th of December last year about Mr. Lowe's behaviour. Why is it taking so long for you to do anything about it?
Well, actually, there've been, with regard to the complaint that was made by the chairman's ear, Yusuf, actually, there's more than one instance, there's 2 threats. But the key thing is this is actually very sad. It's very unfortunate. And
I want to get onto that, but it just seems 3 months is quite a long time for you to realise that you have an undesirable in your midst.
There's been a variety of instances, and you have to make difficult judgments through the process. But of course it's unfortunate, of course it's difficult. But there are these allegations of bullying by 2 separate female members of staff to the parliamentary authorities. Those clearly have to be dealt with in the proper, responsible way. We've also got a duty of care as a party, whether people are employed directly or indirectly. So that's why the chairman has instructed an independent investigation by a KC. That's the right and proper thing to do. That will run its course. We'd all rather that this happened. But imagine if we hadn't been open and transparent about this. Imagine if we tried to brush it under the carpet and in some way cover it up. And then it came out at a future time. Everybody would have been raging at us.
The party has made a big deal of your being defenders of free speech. This all feels a bit Putin-esque, doesn't it?
Far from it, and that's completely inappropriate. The reality is, behind the scenes, there had been a number of difficulties and challenges, and you get to the point where you say enough's enough, and particularly when you get these allegations of bullying by female staff, and you then get to the point where you've got to launch an investigation. And the chairman's made difficult decisions, and we fully support what he's done on this. And I say there were further allegations. And in a sense, you saw this pattern of behaviour when literally the last moment of the House sitting just before Christmas, I was in the chamber at the adjournment debate, and there was a very unfortunate scene that was briefly reported at the time, but not really picked up. And that was an example. And it was
this
pretty
is Mr.
uncomfortable.
Lowe's confrontation with Mike
Cain, the minister, in the House of Commons, and it was dealt with by the Speaker's office, and Rupert had to apologise quite properly. But it was a bad moment, and I think just an indication of the challenges that we'd faced.
The part of the division seems to be the question of whether the Reform Party is a party which has a series of personalities, has a structure, a culture of its own, or whether it is, in effect, a one-man band. Would Reform be anywhere near as successful as you're telling me it is without Nigel Farage?
Well, let me remind you that actually it was me that took the party from 0 to about 15%, and then I was delighted that Nigel wanted to get stuck back into politics.
Why did you move over if you were so successful?
Because
he was old news.
Because Nigel's the most experienced, most successful, most recognised politician in the country, and I knew that that would help drive it forwards. We didn't know the pace at which that would happen, but look, we're united, we're working incredibly hard. It's important to be united, and that's why we had to make that difficult decision. Sometimes life is not perfect. None of us are perfect. None of us never make mistakes. But stuff happens, but let's be absolutely clear. We've got to work the hardest, we've got to get the best candidates and the best policies, and if we keep doing that, we'll do well in these May elections, well next May in the devolved nation elections.
I do want to ask you a question about policy, but honestly, there's history here, isn't there? Something like this happened the Brexit Party. Something like this always happens to Nigel Farage. No doubt, great communicator, big presence and so on, but every party he's been in has founded on...
Are you suggesting that there haven't been sort of personality issues between other parties and people...
Yeah, I'm not talking about other... I'm not talking to other parties, I'm talking to you.
You are indeed. But here's the point. No one thought we could get to 25, 26, 27% in the polls, 7% ahead of the Tories as of a poll yesterday. Look, we're doing well. Is it difficult? Yes. Is it right to have scrutiny? Of course it is, because we're suggesting that we could run the country better than the other lot. So that's fair and easy, and we're delighted to have that scrutiny.
What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments. A staggering 2,000 small boat migrants have crossed the English Channel illegally in just over a week, we can exclusively reveal. That number accounts for half the total of 4,000 Channel migrants who have made the voyage from France since the beginning of the year. Among those who arrived in the past week is a young Palestinian man with alleged extremist links. The campaign against anti-Semitism said it had uncovered evidence that Abu Wadeh had posted anti-Israel and anti-Jewish hate messages on his social media accounts. The Home Office has not confirmed whether the asylum seeker was detained by authorities on his arrival into Dover Harbour. For an unprecedented 9th straight day, more migrant boats have arrived in UK waters. We can confirm that around 240 migrants crossed from France on Sunday in 4 small boats. It follows 174 who arrived in 3 small boats on Saturday. The latest arrivals take the number of migrants who have made the voyage since Saturday 1st March to 2,078. It takes the total for the year to more than 4,100, a record number of small boat crossings at this point in any year since the Channel migrant crisis began in 2016. By 9th March last year, 3,358 migrants had made the illegal journey to the UK. This year's arrivals so far are now 20% ahead of the total at this point in 2024. Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp has criticised the Labour government's smash the gangs policy. The Tory MP said Sir Keir Starmer's government had lost control of our borders. Mr Philp said a Conservative government would stop foreign criminals from using the Human Rights Act to stay in the UK. Commenting on the case of Palestinian Abu Wadeh, he said, "This man should be immediately returned to Palestine, but he will no doubt concoct some absurd human rights claim that the courts will accept." The campaign against anti-Semitism said that Abu Wadeh had previously posted death to all Jews and posed for photographs with automatic weapons. The campaign group also claims to have uncovered evidence that the young Palestinian had previously spoken at a rally led by the former Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, who helped masterminded the 7th October terror attacks. A Home Office spokesperson would not confirm whether he had been arrested by UK authorities. In a statement, they said, "While it is a long-standing rule that we never comment on individual cases or operational matters, the British public can be reassured that we take all steps necessary at all times to protect the nation's security." They added, "We are committed to ending small boat crossings which undermine our border security and restoring order to the asylum system to ensure that the rules are respected and enforced." What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.